Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and I'm here today to talk to you about Stargirl Season 2, Episode 6. Thank you, Jesus God, I have action in this series again. And not just do I have action in this series again, my God, it was actually a pretty good episode, I do have to say. I am so thrilled that this episode, Episode 6, Harper's back to that of season 1, where we get actual good storytelling. It doesn't feel like it's overly CW-ish. It doesn't feel like a Disney Channel ripoff. It was actually a compelling and good show. And I love them for that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Also, heads up, Stargirl has now been renewed for a 3rd season. Yes, Wikipedia has spoiled that, and thank you, Wikipedia. Normally, I get mad at Wikipedia for spoiling certain things or not having things accurate. But yo, it's great that this show got renewed for a 3rd season. I just hope it improves. But this was a really good episode. I love the cinematography of it. Now, when I watched it on TV, I don't recall it being in widescreen or having that dingy color palette. I just don't recall that. But as I'm rewatching it now on the CW app on my TV, because I missed the first 20 minutes of it, so I'm rewatching that. It has a different vibe than what I remember watching it on TV last night. It's widescreen. It has a dingier palette, kind of similar to that of like some type of horror movie. And there's a reason for that. So, we get Yolanda. Finally, we get to see her and she gets to do something. And you know, she's getting people's orders wrong and she's still kind of like mopey around. And then the one dude who's like the music dude with the violin, he shows up. I forget his name. All I know is he's long-haired, shaggy guy who's a little bit emo. And that's what I'm probably going to call him. So, one thing I have noticed that is kind of a little upsetting is that Yolanda, the actress who plays her, I remember her acting being way better in season 1. Like, I have to rewatch season 1 to confirm it. But I just remember her not necessarily being so much lively, but her having just more gumption to her acting and stuff. Now she's just sad and mopey. Probably because she don't get to do nothing on the show. Or probably because her character is still sad from killing that dude from last season. But anyway, so she talks to him and he's like talking about, oh, you know, I saw your pictures, and the whole school saw your pictures. He's referring to the new leaks that Brainwave Jr. Leaked of her and stuff when she sent him like nudes and stuff. And so she's upset. And then when she gets upset, good, her acting's getting better. I like it when when they actually give her something with some like emotion, her acting gets a whole lot better. But I don't know why her acting has been kind of like blasé this season. And then so he's all like, I know what you and your friends did and blah blah, and his parents and stuff like that. So now she knows that he knows that, you know, she's a superhero and stuff like that. We get a scene with Beth and her father, and she's trying to keep her parents' marriage alive by sending them on a vacation, a nice little family trip. He doesn't want no part of this, and this really upsets her. Now, still to this point, I could care less about her parents divorcing, only because of the simple fact that we don't get to see much screen time with her parents. In the first season, they probably show up for 2 episodes, and when they did show up, they was kind of annoyed that she keeps calling them to like eat with them via like face chat and stuff because she has no friends. And so, like, because they got so little screen time last season, but they're getting a little bit more now, but it's just like little tiny bits and pieces here and there. And it's not enough for me to care. Now, if it was Courtney's parents, I would care because they're shown in every episode. And, you know, and they actually show that they love each other. But we still don't understand why her parents are divorcing. We don't understand why they fell out of love because we've never seen them in love. Therefore, you can't really grab a hold of that and get invested. However, the only part that I do feel sorry for is that when it comes to Beth, you have to remember last season, before she became part of JSA, she had no friends whatsoever. She was just a nerdy little girl. And she had to eat on a video camera to talk to her parents every stinking lunch period. And that show, and then so it's kind of like her best friends are like broken up, and it's like really hard for her. So I feel for that part, but I don't feel for nothing else. Now, one thing Beth does when she does leave the building, right before she meets Artemis, I forgot to mention, she calls Rick because she's really upset about her whole parents. I know you can tell they are so shipping those two characters. When it's gonna happen, how it's gonna happen, we don't know. Then when she comes out the place, she gets attacked by like Artemis, and Artemis is pissed off because Artemis is now part of the ISA, and Artemis, she just goes at her talking about, oh, you and your perfect little family, and da 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 da, and my family's in jail, and da 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 da. And so when Beth tried to tell her, you know, look, I feel exactly the same way you do, before she can say her parents are divorced, like Artemis just like starts shouting at her, talking about, and grabs her, it's all like, you know, it's gonna be me and you, nerd versus jock, and blah 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 blah. And then she like shoves her away, and I'm just like, it's great to now finally get some screen time and some character development from Artemis, because she was a big thing in the Young Justice animated series. People love that character to death, but in the first season, I think she only appears maybe once, maybe twice in a cameo, and that's it. And we just see how aggressive she is in sports. But nothing ever indicates she could be evil. And of course, she didn't start turning evil until her parents got locked up and found out why they got locked up, and Cindy been like corrupting her and stuff. So it is finally good to get some screen time with this character. Because that's something I've been wanting to see for a long time. Screen time from the kids of the ISA, because that's something we really got to see. And a couple of them actually died in the first season. So it's like we couldn't get no time to like invest in them. Like dude with the violin, I think he only showed up towards the end of the series, and we knew he was like messed up in the head. But other than that, you know, like nothing. So then we get a scene with Pat and Courtney, and they're inside the art room that got totally screwed up last episode. And she's trying to convince him that, you know, Calypso was doing all this stuff and possessed the teacher. And in some ways, it seems like he's kind of not believing her until she starts showing him more proof. Now, there is a cameo, not a cameo, but an Easter egg. Blink and you missed it. Of what looks like Dr. Fate's helmet in a painting. So that's really interesting. And there's also another Easter egg, some kind of like the crystal eclipse type thing. But in walks in Icicle Jr. And he's still sad, but he's acting like a plank of wood, like he's acting wise. I can't wait until they give him more emotional stuff to do too, because right now he's acting like a plank of wood. And so he's wanting to know what happened to the teacher, and then they see a picture of Cindy holding the like diamond, the black diamond. And so he wants to know what that is, but she won't tell him and stuff because, you know, she doesn't want him to know what's all been going on superhero wise and stuff. So they know that Cindy is being possessed by Eclipso and doing all this dangerous stuff. So they have to stop her. So he tells her to suit up, and they have a cute little bonding moment where they say the same thing about, you know, suit up and meet at the pit. And so it's like, you know, they say it at the same time. So it's nice to see them two like bond and get along with each other. But it's also nice to see her I want like a nice blend of her like getting along with him and also her not and disobeying him, because that's how she was in the comic books, you know. It's like she likes him and everything, but he gets on her nerves because he won't let her do what she wants to do because she's a very stubborn person. Now the next scene is my least favorite character, Mike. He's talking to Zeke. Who is this man? Is he somebody similar to what Shiny Knight was last season when it revealed that the janitor dude is Shiny Knight? Which, by the way, I don't think Shiny Knight is returning. I don't even think the Green Lantern girl is returning. So that kind of sucks. Now, back with Mike and Zeke. Like, Zeke knows about the giant mech suit. He should know that's a superhero suit. I mean, come on now. I mean, at some point in time, somebody had to see Stripe out on the street. You know what I'm saying? When he was like helping the kids out and stuff. So I don't get it. Maybe he's from the comic books. I'm going to look this up. I think I looked it up before, but I think they say he's just created for the show. Which, if that is true, that bugs me. Because I hate when the CW wants to reveal everybody's super identity. That just pisses me off. But back to Mike. So he's talking about how him and his dad wants to build something. His dad don't want him to build nothing with wheels on it. You know, he was going to do something small and tiny. But then Zeke's all like, well, why not, help me put up that giant chainsaw on the striped suit and stuff. And then so Mike is like, walking around looking for tools, and Cindy does this really cool around the shadows type entrance. And I really love her acting in this. Like, there were some times in this when her character is trying to act kind of like nice, scaredish, that just doesn't come off as genuine. But when she does this, it is. And so, Mike is clearly scared and everything. And she's just walking up talking about, like, I need you to join, like, a very, like, special, like, thing or something. I need you for a very special, like, thing or something like that. And he's all like, why would I ever join your team? And then she just busts out laughing in her, like, little maniacal, like, sweet little way, talking about, like, oh, no, I never want you to be part of my team. You're just like your dad, like a nobody. And it's like, yes, get that through his head. He is not a superhero. He shouldn't even be a sidekick. Like, stop trying to make Mike a thing in this show. Just let him be the annoying brother like he is in the comic books. I'm tired of everybody in the CW have to be part of a team. I'm tired of everybody having superpowers. I'm tired of everybody having a suit. I'm tired of everybody just let some people be normal, And so, like, she tells him that he's the bait. And so she captures him off screen. So when Pat's in the garage, he gets attacked by Artemis and shaggy-haired violin dude. And Artemis is whooping the snot rockets out of him. And it's just like, oh no, poor Pat. I mean, she is taking it to him. And it's just like, man, when did she learn how to fight this good? Like, I knew she was good in sports, but she's a little too good at fighting. Now, I will put a pin in that for later for the big battle, because there is one slight part that I love about her fighting skill, and I'm just like, okay, you'll find out later. So anyway, her and Violin Dude are whooping on him. And then so Violin Dude's about to kill him. But then she's all like, no, he's my dad's, like, best friend or something like that. And I'm just like, that's interesting, because, they don't like each other. But I gotta rewatch that one episode with her and the football thing, because I missed part of that episode, and it'll probably explain a whole lot more. But when you go to Wikipedia, like I said, it's been renewed for a third season. You go to Wikipedia, both Sportsmaster and Tigress are part of the main cast in season 3. So that makes me wonder. Only, like, heroes are part of the main cast, and only a few of the villains. So it makes you wonder how they're going to turn out next season. Also, when it comes to Artemis, where did she get this uniform from? Like, it's an actual, like, villainous type costume. I can't remember how her dad used to dress. Maybe it's his suit, but they're completely different height, and body shape, so there's no way his suit can fit her. I mean, like, or maybe she just did what Courtney did, just like took the Star Spangled Kid Starman outfit and then just resized it to her. But who knows? So after that, they completely destroy the mech suit Stripe. Now, Artemis. Okay, I can understand Violin Dude can just blow it up, but the thing is ripped to shreds, and Artemis takes it with a baseball bat and knocks his head off screen. How is Artemis this strong? Like, I've been wondering something about her parents. Her parents are freaky strong, but they're not metahumans. They're just regular people and stuff who are really good at sports and fighting. So how is she so, like, strong? She's literally just, like, her parents are not superpowered. She's just a little girl. How is she able to do all this stuff? Maybe she is secretly metahuman. Like, who knows? But maybe we'll find out. Maybe we won't. And it was a really nice, touching moment of Courtney and her mom at the hospital with Pat, all bruised and battered in a coma. And it really shows just how much Courtney has evolved with her relationship with Pat since the first season. Because when they first started off, she did not like him whatsoever. And after she became a hero, she still kind of didn't like him, but she started easing up to him. And, and it's just like now she's really thinking of him as her real father, and she wants revenge. But she gets a call from Cindy, and Cindy lets her know, yo, I got your brother, and I want to fight you and your friends at the high school at a certain time. Of course, it's a trap, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, finally, the fight that the slider review and all of you have been waiting for. Stargirl, the JSA versus DISA, also known as the Injustice Society, but for some reason Wikipedia has it listed as the Injustice Unlimited, also known as JSA 2.0 versus ISA 2.0, happening in the very halls of Blue Valley High School. Let's get ready to rumble! In a 4-on-3 handicap match for the superiority ranking rights and bragging rights of the champions of the DC universe. In one corner, the JSA 2.0, walking in, or should I say, flying in on her staff, the girl with the blonde, cutest, curliest hair I've ever seen on TV since Bunk. Her name is Courtney Whitmore, but she is now known as Stargirl, fighting with the Cosmic Staff. Her team consists of Yolanda, aka Wildcat 2.0. The other teammates is Rick, also known as Our Man 2.0, who powers only last for 1 hour. And the last teammate, although underestimated, her brain is superior to that of her villains, Beth, also known as Dr. Mid-Nite 2.0. And the other side of the aisle, the villainous trio of pissed off teenagers consisting of their leader, Cindy, who doesn't seem to have no type of supervillain name. We can't go by the comics because they haven't used it in the show. But I think her comic book name counterpart is Shriv. But hey, I digress. She's pissy. They trying to redeem her a little bit in season 2. She has scaly skin, regenerative powers. She has these cool claw things that come from her wrist. Cindy and her accomplices, a troubled girl who plays tons of sports and beats people up when she gets pissy. Her name is Artemis. No supervillain name. Yes, she is the Artemis from Young Justice, the animated series. No, she does not have blonde hair. Thank God she does not have blonde hair, because I was so confused in the show when I found out she was half Asian. I was like, what the freak nuts is this? Artemis and some long-haired, shaggy email dude. I think his name is something. I totally forgot because he has no screen time in the first season and barely any in the second season. Whatever his name is, his father's name was the Maestro, I think. I don't know. But he has a violin, and I love violin music. The dude name who I have forgotten. And one of the most epic fights I have seen since Stargirl Season 1, the finale. Titans, pay attention. This is how you do battles and teamwork. The fight of the century. Let's get on. This action sequence was breathtaking, amazing, and I'm surprised it's on the CW. But it does have a little bit of that CW flair. Now, when the fight first started, I was a little unimpressed because I'm just like, okay, this looks kind of boring, and some people aren't really striking as good as they should. But then they started kicking up the afterburners, and they was whooping on each other. And I loved every moment. It was a combination of practical effects, acrobatics, wire work, and probably a little CGI here and there. And it was great. And what was so amazing about it is that they all fought as a team, and they all just didn't fight one person in particular. Like when they saw one person getting whooped on pretty badly, they would help that person out. And they literally acted like a straight up team when they fought. This is what the Titans need to do, but they don't know how to do that over there on the Titans show. And so one of the greatest things was when Beth, I've been wondering for the longest time, how is Beth ever gonna fight a villain on this show? Because she has no power, she has like nothing, she just has goggles. So I'm just like, she's the weakest person on the team, but she outsmarted Artemis and everything. When Artemis is about to punch her, she shows graphics of like her family incarceration and the holographic type things, and that makes Artemis stop. Like she just couldn't move, and then here comes Rick and just like knocks her out and stuff. And I'm glad they didn't hold the punches back when it came to Artemis and Rick. Yeah, boys shouldn't hit girls, but it's kind of like this: if the girl is really strong, really like muscular, or really good at fighting, then it's all fair game. But it shouldn't be like, oh, the mean male dude bashing a woman. That I hate. But when it's like a fair fight and like entertainment, whether it's wrestling or like TV, movies, I'm okay with that because equal opportunities. And you shouldn't just like cradle somebody just because of how other ones are and stuff. So I'm okay with like that. And so like her and him, they just like go at it left and right. And it's really impressive. Like the whole bathroom scene when she pushes his head in the toilet. And then he's smart enough, he's a little bit of a meathead in the anger dude. He's smart enough to hit the bottom of the toilet and let the water leak out. And I'm just like, man, this is how you do a action sequence. This is like movie level action sequence. And I love when Courtney's riding on like, her staff like a surfboard. And the way the camera angles were, that was so practical, was breathtaking and beautiful. I'm just like, this is how it's done. Marvel and Disney, the movies need to pay attention because I'm tired of all the CGI crap. Now I will say, some of the wire work was a bit jarring. Like it was just a little too, like, too much, you know what I'm saying? And a little too impossible. But these people are really skilled. So, okay, whatever. When it's Wildcat Yolanda doing it, I'm okay because her suit helps her do that. When it's Artemis, however, that's where I got the problem. See, Artemis is too skilled in this episode. She literally has the exact trained fighting skill set as both her father and her mother, and it's combined all in her, and she can do everything they can do. But here's the question: when did she learn? She was doing everything from using sport equipment as weapons, from acrobatics and hand-to-hand combat skills, to using bombs and detonator type stuff. Like this was the Young Justice level of Artemis. And this version is kind of like, when and how did she learn this crap? Because her parents, like one thing about the ISA, they never taught their kids to be evil, and then they never taught their kids how to use their abilities. Her parents, however, did teach her about sports and how to be good at sports. But she's too good and nimble, like Sporting Master, and she's too highly skilled as Tigress. So they didn't. I doubt they taught her that, because if they did, don't you think she would have been asking a bunch of questions and probably would have turned bad earlier, like in the first season or something? So they basically gave her a Captain Marvel, Mary Sue type moment, where she's too skilled and too perfect and stuff. Yeah, she gets whooped on every here and there, but it's too much. And especially when she got knocked on the ground and she flipped up, and the flip was done with wires and not like a real practical flip. That was jarring. Now, I will say this. It sucks that the actress couldn't do her own fighting skill. They had to literally put her, get her a stunt double in a suit with a mask on to cover up her face, because the actress probably can't do all of that. And that really, really, really sucks. Because it's nice to see the actual actress and actors do their own stunts. Now, during like the battle, so Beth, Dr. Mid-Nite, she frees Mike, and he's so rude to her, talking about it's about time. I'm just like, you know, she should have just left him there. And of course, Mike has his moment. I think he throws something at somebody and hits them like he did like last season. And it's just like, you know, his character was just like okay, fine last season when he was just the annoying brother and he got like one little punch in, something like that. But now he's just getting on my stank butt nerves. Another great thing about like the action was the transition parts. Like you'll see one member of the JSA like do a maneuver, and then it will cut to a completely different member, and then they would do the exact same move. So it's like you're watching the same thing in continuous, but you're not, because it's a completely different scene. The person who directed that, boy, that dude is amazing. Now, Courtney's mother, one thing that she does that was really important is that when things started going crazy, she contacted the Shade, and Shade showed up for the battle. But, you know, and I will say this, Shade, I like Shade ever since Batman, not Batman, but Justice League, the animated series. He has a cool look, he has a cool power. And they finally gave this dude his full look, with the top hat, the glasses, everything. And the actor is so good, the way he positions himself, like just everything, you know what I'm saying? But he ends up getting his butt kicked by Eclipso when Sydney unleashes him. So one thing I wanted to mention, when I say that Cindy released Eclipso, technically she didn't really release him because she really didn't want him to come out and possess her, but he pretty much possessed her body. And she didn't want that to happen because of what he made her do last time when she murdered her stepmom. Anyways, when he took possession of her, he egged on Courtney, and Courtney charged with her staff riding it. And that's a really cool practical effect, her charging in. But then I knew this was going to happen. In slow motion, we see her staff crack the crystal, and boom, like Eclipso has now been released. And it's kind of like she played directly into his hands. And it's like, But see, that's who she is, though, in the comic book. She's pretty reckless and stubborn and stuff. So I'm glad they always show that in the show, because she's not perfect. So like Eclipso comes out, and this dude looks like the Green Goblin, and so from like Spider-Man, and so yeah, he is just he is like you the tone, the music, the menacing look, the slow paced walk. You know something bad is gonna happen. And so like he sees the violin, long haired shaggy dude, and he's all like, oh, evil boy, and blah 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 blah, and then he sucks this dude up into his stomach and just absorbs him, and he turns into ash. So he's dead, which kind of sucks, because I kind of like his character. He could have been a great recurring character on his own once he broke away from the ISA, and he could have just been wreaking havoc for the JSA and stuff. This is one thing that's kind of getting on my nerves. They keep killing off all their villains and all their interesting villains, when they should kill off one character that is probably like a lot of people are like, oh my god, I can't believe you said that. But there's a reason for that, and I'll put a pin in that for a little bit later. So yeah, he kills violin shaggy hair dude, and so like everybody's just like, whoa. And then so Cindy, it's all like, I control you and blah 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 blah, and then so this dude's all like, girl, please. And then, so he opens up a vortex and she gets sucked inside and she's screaming and hollering. And Courtney, being the heroic person that she is, she rushes over to save her. And so like she grabs her with one hand, but Courtney's not strong. It should have been Rick, but he doesn't care about Cindy. So he just let her like get sucked in. But Courtney is doing the heroic thing and trying her best to save Cindy. But it fails and she gets sucked in. Now, a lot of fans have been saying, a lot of people online have been saying Cindy is dead. I do not believe for a second Cindy is dead. She's one of the better villains on the show. She's a rival to Stargirl. I bet you anything. Now, okay, now Dr. Mid-Nite. I forget, and he is in the Shadow Realm, but I don't know if he's in a realm that Eclipso put him in or the Shade. It feels like more like the Shade because it looks shadowy and everything. And I forgot who they said put him in there. But I'm pretty sure they said Eclipso killed like his daughter or some crap like that. Or killed him. But of course he's not dead. And so yeah, I believe that she's gonna reappear in that shadow looking realm with Dr. Mid-Nite. So then, and we assume that he might have been dead, but we saw the smoke go around him. And so we see him back at his place, and then he can barely move, and then he sinks back down in his transportation like cloud stuff. And so I think either he's so hurt he's unable to control his power. So we'll see what happens with that. Rick, being the hothead that he is, he decided, okay, let's charge and like whoop this dude. But he gets tossed around like a rag doll. They all pretty much do. Eclipso is just too powerful. And one interesting thing is that when the Eclipso appeared, there was a lunar eclipse in the sky. And then when he left, it left. You know, sometimes I've been wondering, how come it took Rick so long to beat up on Artemis? I mean, Courtney took her down with ease in the first episode. But then again, she caught Artemis by surprise. So, but still, it's like, you know, she took it down with ease. And it took this dude like a long time. He has actual super strength. Now, right before Eclipso left the school, one thing he did is he drained the energy from the cosmic staff. He pretty much made it go dead and everything. And that's, like, I'm just like, oh man, what's going to happen now? How is she going to recharge it? I don't know much of anything about the cosmic staff. I don't even know much about like Stargirl territory. The first time I saw her was Justice League Unlimited. And then I did a little research here and there in the past, but that's about it. But yeah, it's kind of curious to see what's going to happen. And also, what has happened to Starman? We saw him in that first episode, and then that was it. Maybe he's going to come back and somehow recharge it up somehow. Now, one thing that is interesting is that Artemis, when she saw that Cindy got sucked in and long shaggy haired dude got obliterated, she hightails it out of there in a very cowardly motion. So it's kind of like, oh, him is tough girl, so tough. But then once the demon dude comes up, she like hightails it on out of there. So, and I bet you anything, now that Cindy is gone and long shaggy haired is gone and Icicle isn't like a villain yet, I bet you anything she's gonna be so scared that she's gonna turn over a new leaf and join the JSA. I bet you anything. So when the JSA is talking about, like, you know, like what happened in that battle and stuff like that. Okay, here comes that part I put a pin in. This character, Mike. I don't like Mike. I just don't like Mike, okay? He is from the comics. He's the annoying brother of Courtney and gets on her nerves. Just let him be that. Do not make him a stinking superhero on this show. Do not CW this up. And this is what the CW does. The Arrow, the Flash, Supergirl, every non-superhuman person that was on that show now has superpowers or like a costume or just like something. There's some type of hero. And it's like, no, not everybody on this show has to be a hero. Let some people be ordinary. Let Mike be ordinary. Heck, I'd rather see Mike die than see the violin dude die. It would have been a whole lot more grieving for like Courtney and stuff. And Pat, that's his actual son. But yeah, and then what bugged me the most is that, okay, he got, like I said even before, he got kidnapped by Cindy. He says with his head down in a very, like, annoying kind of, arrogant kind of way, he's all like, I gotta step up my training. Cindy just captured me like that. And then his dad's all like, you know, we'll rebuild, like, you know, Stripe together and stuff. He's like, no, Dad, I want my own stripey suit. Or stripe suit, whatever you call that thing. Stripesy. That's what Stargirl calls them. I want my own stripey, like, mech suit. No, Mike, you don't need your own mech suit. You don't even need to be part of the JSA. You don't need to be a superhero. You just need to be an annoying little brother, and that's it. Do not ruin this show by making every person a hero. I mean, the cast is big enough as it is, and people barely get any screen time. Like, Yolanda has barely done or said anything this season, but like she's getting her own episode next episode. And it's just like, no, Mike, stay in your place, know your role in life, and do not be a hero. Does he really think he's gonna be the biggest, baddest thing in like a mech suit? Like, seriously. And one of the reasons why they destroyed Pat's suit is because the CW does not have the budget to make Stripe move around. And so that's why he's been immobile this entire season. They destroyed that thing. And so, like, yeah, man, the coolest, creepiest, Halloweenest, scary, spookiest, moviest thing just happened when we see Eclipso just like walking down the street. And then he transformed into that little boy that we saw in the first episode of this season. And the little boy is creepy like I don't know what. The dude's just like walking and kind of swaying his hands around, kind of like a living doll that has came alive and making the creepiest laughing noise. I don't know if it's the little boy making that noise or it's like more professional, like voice actor or something like that, but it's cool and it is creepy. And I am so digging this vibe. I hope they don't screw it up. So yeah, all in all, I really enjoyed this episode. I have a feeling that it's gonna get watered down after this because the CW is the CW, you know what I'm saying? But man, I needed this episode so badly and everything. It was so good and stuff, and it's just like, you know, this is what I've been wanting all season long and I haven't got it, and they finally delivered. I just fear that they might just let it be that and then go back to whatever lame CW thing they want them to do next. So yeah. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.